I want to talk about some of the devices that we find on networks. This is not all of them by any means, but a few of them. So here in this case, I've got this internet and this internet service provider and the PC here, but the PC cannot communicate directly with the internet service provider without a box we call the modem. That stands for modulator demodulator, and it modulates the signal. That is to say, it changes the characteristics of the signal from the ISP, because the ISP uses such things as coaxial cable or other types of connection, to the type of signal that the PC can understand, and then back again. So that's the function of the modem. In this next one, I have come off of the modem and gone to a wireless router. Now this is a router in that, remember, on a router connects two different networks. So in this case, I've got an internal network and an external network. So these are going to be on a different address space than this line here. And so here I've connected directly into the back of that wireless router, and then by Wi-Fi I've connected to that wireless router. Now remember that a wireless router does routing. It also does some things such as switching and firewalling and some other things that the typical hardwired routers don't normally do, but it provides full network connectivity, so to speak, to your home. By the way, a lot of times these are combined into one unit. So your ISP may give you just one box, which is both a modem and a wireless router in one single box, all put together like one unit. Here's a more commercial look. So we've got a modem, and this time we have a router, and this is a hardwired router. And we can't just connect all these different PCs to that router because each one would be on a different network. We want them all on the same network. And so we use a switch. A switch allows multiple connections to the same network. And remember, on a router, each port on a router is a different network. So you've got one network coming off this way to the modem, and then the internal or private network coming off on this side of the router over here. In this case, I've got the same setup I did before, but this time on this switch, I attached what we call a wireless access point. Now, this is not the same as a router. A wireless access point simply provides a connection to a wired network. So it allows for laptops, phones, and other things to connect to this wired network here. So it's just like a plug in the wall, except instead of an actual plug, it's a wireless signal. That's the WAP, and it is different from the wireless router. Firewalls. Firewalls can be software firewalls or hardware firewalls or both. So in this case, I've got a software firewall. That is to say, the operating system on this computer has a firewall built into it, and a firewall's purpose is to block certain kinds of signals from incoming and outgoing. The original use of firewalls was so that internet traffic can't enter our computer unless we have asked for it. So it blocks people randomly trying to break into your system and do something bad to it. So it just blocks all signals unless it's something I've asked for. And it remembers if I've asked for a web page, it will now allow that web page through. Software firewalls are typically on all of these PCs. They may also be built into wireless routers and so forth. But let's talk about the other alternative, a hardware firewall. So the nice thing about the hardware firewall is it protects an entire network. So the software firewall, you notice, only protects one computer, whereas here I'm protecting an entire network with the same set of rules. I might actually have both of them on there so that I can have differences between how everything else is protected and how one particular device is protected. But remember that firewalls simply use a set of rules to determine what can come into and out of a system or a network.